Everybody, just want to welcome you to week 13, module 13 for ME 171 Design of Elements. So within this module, we have a couple different things going on. We'll be covering the topics of chapter 15 and chapter 17, looking at spur gears and shafts. So we'll also have your quiz number 13. This has been posted to Blackboard and will be due by Friday at 4 p.m. Now the big ticket item for this week is your final reports for your group project are due. I have bumped this out an extra day. So rather than being due on Thursday the 29th, they're now due on Friday, April 30th by the end of the day. So I'm giving you one extra day to work on those. I know everybody's got a lot going on with finals coming up this end of the semester, so I want to give you a little bit of extra time to work on that. Now, a reminder, as always, I do have my office hours scheduled for Thursdays after class from 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Now, if you're not able to meet during this time, please send me an email, a message, or a chat on Teams, and we'll find a time that does work with both of our schedules. Also, the TA does have office hours on Wednesdays from 10 to 11:30 a.m. So if you have any questions relating to grading, homeworks, or exams, that'd be a great opportunity to meet up with him. So as we take a look at our schedule for the semester, we can see we're down here now in our module 13. So there is no lecture on Tuesday the 27th. This time is going to be dedicated to the ME 144 exam number 2, but I will still be posting my lecture notes as well as some example problems for my hand solutions for a couple different problems for you guys to work through utilizing the information from that chapter as well as from my lecture notes as well. Then on Thursday the 29th, we'll be getting into some more information on our spur gears and shafts. And this was also the original due date of your final report for the group projects, but I have pushed this back until Friday the 30th at the end of the day. Again, with missing this lecture and things getting pretty hectic at the end of the semester, I wanted to give you guys a little bit of extra time. So those won't be due until Friday, April 30th at the end of the day. Then we'll kind of have our module 14 and 15. 15 is only a partial week. 14 is a full week, but all three of these last lecture times are going to be dedicated to your group project presentations. So we'll be going through, plan on spending about 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes to go through your presentation. So this is something you'll have as a PowerPoint that you'll present through Teams during the class times. I'll be going right through the same order that we went for the white papers for this class. So plan accordingly for when you're going to be presenting. Again, it'll be the last 3 lectures of the semester. So modules 14 and 15. So it'll be on the 4th, the 6th, and the 11th will be the dates you're going to be presenting your projects. So now as we get into our content for our module 13, we'll be looking at chapters 15 and chapter 17 in our textbook, looking at spur gears and shafts. So as we're talking about our gears, gears are defined as tooth members transmitting rotary motion from one shaft to another. Now for our spur gears, these are the simplest and most common type of gears. They're used to transfer motion between parallel shafts and have teeth that are parallel to the shaft axes. So as we're talking about shafts, these usually refer to a relatively long member of round cross section that rotates and transmits powers. Now one or more members such as gears, sprockets, pulleys, cams are usually attached to shafts by means of pins, keys, splines, snap rings, and other devices. Now these other devices that we're talking about here are those that are associated parts and are considered as couplings or universal joints which serve to connect the shafts to its main power or load. So this is why I've chosen to combine chapters 15 and 17 into this module 13, because you can see these gears and these shafts kind of go hand in hand as we're discussing them. So within this module, we're going to be taking a look at the geometry and nomenclature for gears, talking about gear force analysis and strength, looking at gear tooth bending strength and gear tooth surface durability, talk about our gear materials. Then we'll get into our shafts and talk about the provisions for shaft bearings, rotating shafts, talk about general shaft design, and then get into those associated parts or our couplings and universal joints. So as this relates back to our textbook, this is chapters 15, sections 1 through 13, and chapters 17, sections 1 through 7. So we're going to break module 13 down into 2 different sections, 13.1 and 13.2. In module 13.1, that's when we looking at chapter 15, talking about our spur gears. Just a reminder, there is no live lecture, but I will have my lecture slides posted up on Blackboard, as well as some videos of me going through my hand solutions and relating back to the governing theory and equations from this section. So within this module, we're going to take a look at the history, geometry and nomenclature for gears, talk about interference and contact ratio, get into a little bit for gear force analysis and strength, and then we're going to be looking at the gear teeth. And within that, we're going to be looking at strength, the analysis of the teeth, the bending stress, surface durability, and fatigue analysis, all within our gear teeth. From there, we're going to look at our spur gear design and talk about the procedures. Then get into some different types of materials for gears and talk about gear trains. So within this module, we'll talk about the theory for all these above topics, look at our governing equations, talk about some applications, and then go through my hand solutions to a couple different problems. So as we get into our Module 13.2, the second section for our Module 13, this is going to be related to our Chapter 17 material, looking at shafts and associated parts. So within this module, we'll talk about the introduction history of shafts, then get into some provisions for shaft bearings, talk about mounting parts onto rotating shafts, look at the rotating shaft dynamics, talk about the overall shaft design, get into some information on keys, pins, and splines, and last, we'll take a look at couplings and universal joints. So within this, we'll go over the theory for these above topics, look at our governing equations, talk about some practical applications, and then go through some hand solutions to a couple different problems.